The lid comes up and the smell comes with it. Not a strong smell at first, just something off, something stale and a little sour sitting at the back of your throat, and you just wash those clothes. You use the detergent, maybe even a little extra because things have been smelling funny lately, and they still came out smelling like that, like damp and closed in and not quite clean. You are not imagining it. The machine is not broken. What is happening is simpler than that, and once you understand it, you will never look at that drum the same way. There is a $2 fix for this. Plain white distilled vinegar, the same jug that has been sitting on pantry shelves and kitchen counters since before any of us were born, and it will do something inside that machine that no detergent on the market can replicate. Not because it is magical, because it is the right tool for the right job, and the job is one that most cleaning products are not actually designed to do. Stick with me because there is one part of this that people get wrong, one small mistake that turns a helpful thing into a harmful one. And I want to make sure you have the full picture before you try it. 50 years ago, I would have been standing over a wash tub on the back porch of our farmhouse up in the Blue Ridge, working laundry the way my mother taught me and her mother taught her. Hard well water, no store products to speak of, and everything had to stay clean and smell right through mud seasons and humid summers and the kind of damp that settles into a hollow in spring and does not leave until July. My name is Annie Hemingway, and keeping things clean without spending money on it is something I have been doing since I was old enough to wring out a cloth. The women who raised me on that homestead solved every laundry problem with what they had, and what they had was mostly vinegar, water, and patience. That knowledge kept our clothes clean, our linens fresh, and our washing equipment in good working order for decades. It is the same knowledge I want to pass along to you today. This kind of practical home knowledge ought to keep moving from one generation to the next. That is the whole reason I am here sharing it. If what I teach is useful to you, go ahead and subscribe. There is a great deal more where this comes from, and every bit of it costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time. Now, before we get into the method, I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want to hear your answer. Have you noticed that smell coming off your machine? Is it a musty scent? The musty, sour, closed-in smell that no amount of detergent seems to chase away? Tell me in the comments, how long has your machine been smelling off, and have you ever tried anything to fix it? I read every comment that comes in, and I want to know what you have been dealing with. Let me tell you what that smell actually is, because understanding the source is what makes the fix make sense. When you run a washing machine, especially a front loader, though top loaders are not immune, you are creating the exact conditions that bacteria and mold spores love most. Warm water, this is where it starts. Moisture that does not fully drain. It pools at the bottom. A sealed rubber gasket around the door that traps water in its folds. A detergent dispenser tray that never fully dries out. And here is the part that surprises people. The detergent itself is part of the problem. Liquid detergent, and even powder, if you use more than you need, leaves a film. Not a visible one, not something you would notice running your hand around the drum. But it is there, coating the inside of the machine in a thin layer of soap residue. And soap residue in a warm, wet environment becomes a feeding ground. The bacteria that cause that sour smell feed on it. The biofilm, that is the scientific word, but all it means is a layer of living organisms clinging to a surface, builds up in the drum, in the gasket folds, in the pipes you cannot see. Laundry swirling in soapy water inside a machine. It's a warm, wet environment. More detergent does not solve it. In fact, it's not the answer. More detergent makes it worse. It creates more residue. That is the part nobody tells you, and it matters, so hold on to it. Vinegar works on this problem because of its acidity. It's very effective. It dissolves mineral deposits from hard water, the same white, crusty buildup you see around faucets, and it breaks down that soap residue film that the bacteria are living in. It does not just mask the smell. It removes what is causing the smell. This is the goal. Plain white distilled vinegar. Use only this type. Not apple cider vinegar that has its own residue and its own smell, and you do not want it in your machine. Plain white, it must be clear white. Distilled, this is very important to remember. The kind that costs about $2 for a large bottle at any grocery store, any big box store, anywhere. That is your tool, the best one for the job. And in the next stretch, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do with it, step by step, in the right order, so you do not waste a drop of it. The thing people miss, and I want to be clear about this before anything else, is that a washing machine is a sealed, warm, wet environment that almost never fully dries out between uses. Every time you close that lid or that door and walk away, whatever moisture is left inside stays there. Whatever soap film is coating the drum stays there. It never leaves. Whatever is living in the gasket fold stays there, growing every day. And it all keeps growing quietly in the dark, in silence. That is why the problem keeps coming back even after you run a hot cycle or buy a new detergent. You are cleaning the laundry. That is what you are doing. You are not cleaning the machine. This is the problem. Those are two entirely different jobs, and they require two entirely different approaches. Your detergent is formulated to lift dirt and oil from fabric fibers suspended in water. That is what it does well. It's built for that. What it cannot do, what it was never designed to do, is dissolve the mineral scale that hard water leaves behind on metal and rubber surfaces, or break down the biofilm that builds up in places water pools and sits. Sending more detergent through a machine with those problems is like mopping a floor with muddy water and wondering why it does not come clean. Vinegar does the job detergent cannot. It's the secret weapon. The acetic acid in plain white vinegar, and when I say acetic acid, all I mean is the sharp sour compound that makes vinegar smell like vinegar, dissolves mineral deposits on contact. It cuts through soap scum. It's incredibly powerful. It breaks down the surface that bacteria cling to, destroying them. And it does all of this without leaving any residue of its own, because vinegar rinses clean in water. That is the key. Remember this part above all else. It goes in, does the work, and washes away. Now, we are ready to begin the process. Here is exactly what to do. Listen carefully now. Step 1. This is the first action to take. Your machine must be empty, completely empty now. No clothes, no towels, nothing in the drum, not even a sock. Measure out 2 full cups of plain white distilled vinegar. Pour it directly into the drum itself, not into the detergent dispenser, not into the softener slot, directly into the drum before you start the cycle. The reason for this is simple. If you pour it into the dispenser, it dilutes too early and rinses out before it has a chance to work on the drum surfaces where the buildup actually lives. Step 2. This is the next phase of our cleaning guide. Set your machine to the longest cycle available at the hottest water temperature it offers. On most machines, that is a heavy-duty cycle or a sanitized cycle if you have one. Hot water matters here because heat activates the vinegar's cleaning action and helps lift buildup that cooler water would leave sitting. Start the cycle and let it run. While the machine is running, and this is important, do not skip this part. You are going to tend to the 2 areas that the drum cycle cannot reach on its own. Step 3. This is the part that people get wrong. Take a clean rag or an old cotton cloth and mix yourself a solution of equal parts plain white vinegar and water in a small bowl. 1 part vinegar, 1 part water, that is all. Take that cloth, wet it in the solution, and work it carefully into every fold of the rubber door gasket. If you have a front loader, you know the gasket I mean, that thick rubber seal around the door opening that has accordion-like folds running around the inside of it. Pull those folds back gently and wipe inside them. What you find in there will likely surprise you. Dark residue, soap scum, sometimes visible mold spotting. Wipe it all out. Use a firm hand to remove all the slime. Rinse the cloth, go back in, wipe again. Wipe it all out. Get all the grime. Rinse the cloth, go back in, wipe again. On a top loader, wipe around the rim where the lid meets the drum and inside the lip. Do not rush this step. Take your time. The gasket is where the worst of the problem lives, and a drum cycle alone will never touch it. Step 4. This is a crucial step in the process. Pull out your detergent dispenser tray now. It should come free. On most machines, it lifts straight out. Check your machine's manual if it does not come free easily. Fill your small bowl or a shallow dish with undiluted white vinegar and set the tray in it to soak for 20 minutes. While it soaks, use an old toothbrush or a small scrub brush to work into the corners and channels of the tray. Soap residue builds up thick in those channels, and it does not come off with rinsing alone. After 20 minutes, scrub it thoroughly, rinse it under warm running water, and set it aside to dry before you slide it back in. Step 5. Now we finish up. When the hot cycle finishes, open the door and look inside the drum. You may notice the smell has already shifted, less sour, more like vinegar, which is temporary and will fade completely as the drum dries. Take a clean, dry cloth and wipe down the inside of the drum. You are not scrubbing, just wiping away any loosened residue the cycle has brought to the surface. Pay attention to the bottom of the drum where water collects. All done. Then leave the door open. Not for 10 minutes, for at least 1 full hour. If you can leave it open until the drum is fully dry to the touch, even better. Air is what finishes the job. Air is what a sealed machine never gets enough of, and that absence of airflow is the root cause of everything you are trying to fix. Put the dispenser tray back in once it is dry. Leave the door ajar like this. The total cost of everything I just described is the price of 1 bottle of plain white distilled vinegar, somewhere around $2, maybe a little more for a larger jug. No specialty tablet, no washing machine cleaner kit, no subscription product. A $2 bottle of vinegar that you likely already have under your kitchen sink or on your pantry shelf. That is exactly the method. That is what the women in my hollow did when the wash tub started smelling wrong, not with a machine, but with the same principle. A sour smell always means buildup. Buildup simply feeds bacteria, creating a real problem. Vinegar effectively clears the buildup. Air effectively dries what is left. And the reason this fix holds, the reason it does not just mask the problem for a week before it comes back, is what I want to walk you through next, along with the one honest limit of this method that you need to know before you count on it. Now, I want to be straight with you about something because this is the part that matters more to me than sounding like I have all the answers. White vinegar run through a hot, empty cycle will dissolve mineral scale, break down soap residue film, and clear the early stage buildup that causes that sour, closed-in smell. For the ordinary washing machine problem that creeps up on a household over months of normal use, and that is exactly what most people are actually dealing with, this fix works. It has worked reliably for as long as people have been using vinegar to clean things, which is a very long time. What it will not do is clear a machine that has advanced black mold growing visibly in the gasket folds or along the drum. If you pull that gasket back and what you find is not dark residue but actual mold colonies, fuzzy, spreading, clearly biological, that is a different situation entirely. Vinegar will not reach the root of it. You would need a diluted bleach solution applied directly to those surfaces with the machine empty and the room ventilated, and everything would need to dry completely before laundry went back through it. I would rather tell you that now, plainly, than have you trust this method for a problem it was not built to handle. Vinegar will also not fix a machine with a broken door seal or one that has a drainage problem leaving standing water pooled somewhere it should not be. If you do the full cleaning, drum cycle, gasket wipe, dispenser soak, door left open to dry, and the smell returns within a week, do not pour more vinegar in. Get the machine looked at. Something mechanical is holding moisture where moisture should not stay. That is truly the honest limit of it. For everything short of those two situations, $2 of plain white vinegar and the method I described will do the job. Now let me tell you how to keep the problem from coming back, because the method works best when it is not a rescue operation. Maintenance is easier than repair, and on a homestead that was not a philosophy, it was just how you kept things running. Once a month, run 1 cup of plain white vinegar through your machine on the hottest, longest cycle it offers. Not the full 2-cup deep clean every time. Just 1 cup, hot water, empty drum, on a regular schedule. Pick a day and keep it. The first of the month, the first Saturday, whatever fits your household. That monthly habit prevents mineral scale and soap film from ever reaching the point where bacteria move in and make themselves comfortable. You are not cleaning a dirty machine, you are keeping a clean one clean. There is a real difference between those two things, and the second one is far easier. The second habit costs nothing at all. Leave the door open after every wash, every single time without exception. Pull the laundry out, prop the door open, and walk away. Front loaders need this most urgently. That rubber gasket has deep folds that trap water and never see airflow when the door is shut, and warm trapped moisture is exactly what mold needs to get started. But top loaders benefit from it too. 10 minutes of open air across that drum does more good than most people would believe. Make it as automatic as turning off the light when you leave a room. The third habit will surprise you, and it will save you money on top of fixing the smell. Use less detergent than the cap tells you to use. Fill it to roughly half of what those measuring lines indicate. The lines on the cap are set by the company selling you the detergent, and they have a clear interest in you using more of it faster. Modern machines, especially high-efficiency front loaders, need a fraction of the soap that older machines required. Excess detergent does not make your clothes cleaner. It stays behind in the machine as residue, coating the drum and the gasket and the pipes, and that residue is exactly what the bacteria in a sour-smelling machine are living on. Simply use less detergent for a cleaner machine. It means a cleaner machine and a much lower bill. You get all three at once. 3 habits. Monthly hot vinegar cycle. Door open after every wash, half the detergent you have been using. No product to order, no subscription to maintain, nothing to run out of. Nobody profits from those 3 habits, and that is precisely why nobody is selling them to you. The washing machine cleaning tablets at $12 a pack exist because doors get closed and detergent gets overpoured, and the hot empty cycle never gets run until something already smells wrong. Take those habits away and the tablet has no problem left to solve. It is not that anyone is deliberately keeping this from you. It is simpler than that, and in some ways more discouraging. Good habits simply do not have a price tag on them, so nobody has a reason to put them in front of you. My mother understood this without ever having to say it out loud. She kept a vinegar jug on the shelf beside the laundry porch, the way some households keep dish soap. Not as a specialty item, not as something she had read about somewhere. It was just part of the work. After the washtub was used, she wiped it down. After a heavy wash week, she ran a vinegar rinse through it. She left it uncovered in the sun when the weather allowed. She never thought of it as a method or a trick. She thought of it the way she thought about everything on that homestead. You take care of your tools regularly and without drama with what you have on hand, and they take care of you in return. The machine in your laundry room is no different. So here's what I want you to do this week. Not next month, not when you get around to it. This week, before you run another load of laundry through that machine. Go to the grocery store or the big box store and pick up 1 large bottle of plain white distilled vinegar. Definitely not apple cider vinegar, that's important. Not cleaning vinegar, which runs at a higher acidity than you need for this. Plain white distilled vinegar, the kind that costs around $2 for a big jug. You likely already have it under your sink. If you do, go check, because this is one of those things people buy, put under the sink, and forget about until they need it for something else entirely. Empty your machine completely before you start. If you do, go check, because this is one of those things people buy, put under the sink, and forget about until they need it for something else entirely. Empty your machine completely, just like this. Pour 2 full cups of that vinegar directly into the drum, not the dispenser slot, straight into the drum. Set your machine to the longest cycle at the hottest temperature it offers and start it running. While it runs, mix equal parts vinegar and water in a small bowl, wet a clean cloth in it, and work that cloth into every fold of the rubber door gasket. Pull the folds back and wipe inside them, every single one. Pull the folds back and wipe inside them. Then pull out the detergent dispenser tray, set it in undiluted vinegar for 20 minutes, scrub it with an old toothbrush, rinse it clean, and set it aside to dry. Then pull out the detergent dispenser tray, set it in undiluted vinegar for 20 minutes, scrub it with an old toothbrush, rinse it clean, and set it aside to dry. When the cycle finishes, wipe the inside of the drum with a dry cloth and leave the door open for at least 1 full hour. That is the whole thing. $2 one afternoon and a machine that smells the way a clean machine ought to smell. Then keep it that way each and every month. 1 cup of vinegar on a hot empty cycle once a month. Half the detergent you have been using, fill the cap to about half the measuring line, and your clothes will come out just as clean. Those 3 habits cost you nothing, and they keep the problem from ever coming back. Now, I have been sharing this kind of home knowledge for a good while now, and the question I get asked more than almost any other is some version of, "Why did nobody ever tell me this?" And the honest answer is that somebody did tell you. Your grandmother knew it, or her mother did. Your grandmother knew it, or her mother did. It just stopped being passed down somewhere along the way, around the same time that stores started selling a product for every problem and the old methods got quietly set aside. That is the whole reason I keep showing up here. Not because this knowledge is rare or hard to find, it is neither of those things, but because it needs to keep moving. If what I share here is useful to you, and I hope today it was, go ahead and subscribe. Every week, I bring another one of these old Appalachian methods out of the pantry and into plain language, and every one of them costs about as much as a jar of vinegar and takes about as much time as a cup of coffee. You will not regret having it in your feed, I promise. You will not regret having it in your feed. When you do the gasket wipe, when you pull those rubber folds back and clean inside them for the first time, I want to know what you find. Because in my experience, that is the part that surprises people most. The drum looks clean. The gasket tells the truth. Tell me in the comments what you discover in there and whether this method makes a difference for you. I read every comment that comes in, and your answers genuinely help me understand what people are dealing with in their homes. The natural next step from here, and I will be covering it soon, is what else white vinegar can do in the places in your home where hard water and soap residue cause the same kind of slow, invisible buildup. The shower head that has lost half its pressure, the kettle that takes twice as long to boil, the bathroom fixtures with white crust around the base that no spray cleaner seems to touch. The same $2 jug, the same principle applied in a handful of different places, and the results are just as clear. Keep an eye out for that one. It's coming soon. In the meantime, take care of your machine the way my mother took care of that old wash tub, a little vinegar, a little air, and the patience to do it before it becomes a problem. A well-tended home does not ask much of you. It just asks that you not forget about it. I am Annie Hemingway, and I will see you next time.